Podcast.
What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of the Plant Movement Podcast. I am your host, Willie Rodriguez, and today we have a super special guest in the house. Well, actually, I'm in his house. As you can see, the beautiful scenery behind me. We did a mobile setup today to come to him because he's a busy guy, and we wanted to showcase how beautiful his spot is. I'm here with Matt from The Plant Guy.
Sure, man.
What's
Hey,
up, man?
Nice to meet you. Or
Nice
to
to
see you.
meet
Nice
you.
to meet you. I've known him for years. But no, yeah, I'm excited about this. Yeah.
This is awesome, man. It's awesome to have this set up where we have it mobily.
100%.
Right, and we can go anywhere we want, and we
I
can
love
have
it.
fun and
Yeah.
record and make memories and talk about all the things that
Absolutely.
we do. Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So you are a very interesting person. Ever since I met you, even though we had done business for a long time, I had never really formally met you till that one day I'm standing in that gas station
Oh,
boutique,
yeah.
and
Oh,
you
yeah.
drive by, and I'm like, hey, who's that?
Right.
He's like, oh, that's Matt. I'm like, hey. So I remember that day very, very vividly. And I went to your other showroom, and now I'm here sitting in your new showroom, and we've talked countless times, many hours, just about your whole story
Right.
of how, you started from literally nothing,
Yeah.
from the bottom,
Yeah.
with all these different things going on in your brain, and you had a bunch of ideas, not knowing anything about much,
Right.
but making something out of nothing, really, and sticking with it over the years, and being who you are today and
Right.
where you are today
Right.
is so uplifting and inspiring for not just me,
Right.
but everyone around you, your team, the people watching, the people listening on the podcast. And
100%.
and I really wanted to get you on just because of who you are and your story.
Cool. Thanks.
Right?
man.
And what you do, because what you do is different, and it's ballsy, and it's different. It's
yeah.
outside the box, and you are someone that is, that is innovative enough to be one of the first to actually do it. Right? And those are the type of people I want to hang out with.
Cool, man.
Right?
I
Because those
appreciate
are the
it.
people
Yeah.
that make moves and get things done. So on today's episode, guys, I'm going to be picking Matt's brain, and we're going to go in as deep as we can go. And I want to give you guys content and just, listen to everything that gets talked about today, because it is a very inspirational story, and he is going to go into whatever he feels comfortable going into. But I want you guys to listen to it because it's going to be very relatable to a lot of us.
Yeah.
So I want to go back. I want to take you back. Let's go through the nostalgia books, right?
Sure.
And let's go back to where you were when you started this. What was your, plan, or what was it at that time, or what you thought it was at that time? Where'd your mind take you, and where did you start? I know you're a Florida local. You grew up
Yeah.
in Cooper City.
Coral Springs.
Sorry.
Yeah.
You grew up in Coral Springs, and you started your journey. How old were you when you jumped into, plants?
Correct.
As a career. I know you liked them your whole life, but
Yeah.
career-wise.
It's funny because actually you and I have been talking about when I started 9 years ago, but really it goes back about 12.
12
right?
years.
So I haven't
Okay.
talked about that. And it was during when the crash in the market happened. I think
Okay,
it was
08, 10.
08, 09. My brother had a big company. Everyone left. And I was like, oh, my God, what are we going to do? And I was like, I'm going to start a business, landscaping.
Okay. And
And-
you were working with your brother at the time.
At that time I was. And then
Okay.
I started my landscape. I quit working there. He was in construction.
Okay.
And that company just went down.
Okay.
Right?
A lot of people.
So I'm like, I love plants. What am I going to do? Let me call it the grass guys.
Okay.
So I started there,
The
cutting grass.
guys.
Yeah.
Okay. So you started in maintenance. Listen to this, guys.
Yeah,
Listen to this.
I
He started in maintenance. Listen
oh
to
my
this.
God!
Okay.
I took the money I had, and thankfully I had my truck and I had all that, and I got a trailer and I got some new equipment, and I started cutting grass.
Okay.
Basically cutting grass.
Okay.
Yeah, I was a landscaper cutting grass.
Yeah,
right?
that's how you start.
But I would work into, they would ask me questions, and they say, what would you do here? I'm like, oh, I would do this,
Mm-hmm.
and so that's how I started.
okay.
Now, I go a year later, and it's so hot.
Yeah,
right?
very hot.
It's
Florida.
hot outside. I'm like,
And
man,
humid.
I don't know if I want to do this. I think I told my partner I want to open a plant store, and he laughed at me.
Yeah.
Right. And yeah, he did, and it was on
Yeah,
Oakland Park.
because no one had done that.
Right. It's on Oakland Park. Right. It wasn't the thing to have a plant
It
store.
wasn't,
It
no.
wasn't popular to be into plants, especially for guys or anybody. I think back then, now
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
like if you look online, it's
Well, now the interior
insane.
space has blown up to another level.
oh.
But let's say the wholesale community, it's
Right.
been the same forever.
Right,
It hasn't
right.
changed.
Right.
We're trying to bring some
It's true.
pizzazz
That's
to
true.
it. Yeah.
But it went into the individual guy that's single,
Yes.
and now he's got every kind of pothos vine
Yes.
or anthurium and he names them,
Yes.
right? And you're
Yes.
like, holy shit.
yes.
They'll come up to me
In
and
their
you're the plant guy,
apartment,
right?
yeah.
And I go, I have this, and I'm like, oh God, I don't even know the name.
I don't even know what that is. Yeah.
Which is another conversation to have. You
Yeah,
know.
we can have as many as you want.
So here we are cutting grass, and I'm like, I want to open a plant store. He's like, you're crazy. And so I did,
Okay.
And where it was is we were cutting that grass on Oakland Park.
Okay. Boulevard.
Oakland Park Boulevard and Andrews, and we were cutting that community's grass, which was an office complex.
Okay.
And I'm looking at, there's a place that says for rent, and it was a little 500 square foot on the corner. And I was like, I could rent that and put the plants in of my house. And
Okay.
I did that.
That's crazy, man.
I did that, and I opened up and I put flags outside, and because it was tucked in there, it wasn't like on the corner. You
Yeah.
couldn't see it, and so and it was called Green Thumb Pottery.
Green Thumb Pottery.
You didn't know that, did you?
Okay, no, I didn't know.
Right,
that.
right.
I met you at the plant
let's-
boat.
Yeah, let's take this back. So I started there, and it was a whim, and I'm like,
And social media wasn't a big thing.
at
So that wasn't
all.
something
no,
you could
no.
use to
Back
advertise.
then, you had to put your space on the street, right? You need
Basically.
the people do drive by, right?
Okay.
That's how you get noticed, right? And then
Word of mouth.
And Facebook was starting,
Okay.
kind of,
But Facebook too was more.
Yeah. it
Facebook
wasn't
was more
business,
for like
people.
yeah, it was personal life.
So you're right. It wasn't started yet. So it was legit. It was
Yeah.
put the flag
That's how I
out front.
started, yep.
Says plant sale, right? right.
Yeah.
And all the plants were mine,
Okay.
right?
That you dug up.
Yep.
The
And I
how you
had
found.
and or the ones that I had in pots already, and I
Okay.
brought them. I cleaned them up, and you know what I was trying to do? It's like there's no modern planters around, and no but there was. But you know who it was too? It was to the industry.
Mm-hmm.
It was to the people that were doing plants for hotels and stuff like that.
Yes.
You would see those modern pots,
Mhm.
but the public didn't really have them. They never saw them. They
Yes.
didn't know how to get them,
Yeah.
right?
Not like now.
And I remember I found Bernickers
Bernickers. Yeah.
back in the day, and they sold lechuza, and I was like, oh my God, look at this white pot. They're gonna sell it to me so I can
Yeah.
sell it to people.
Yes.
And I did, and people were like, wow, what is that? So but let me take you back, so I'm sitting there in this store with a sign out front, and it's open, and it's my plants inside, and it was not going so great.
Okay. Yeah.
And
It's new, man. Nothing new.
and about 2 weeks, 3 weeks later, a lady comes in. She says, hey, would you come to my house and tell me what I need? And I'm like, okay.
Yeah, I'll go.
So sure. Like, you want me to come there? I'm like, okay. So I go there, and back then I had a carbon copy paper.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So the
all
three
of us
levels.
did 3-part.
3-part. And I had my catalogs.
Yeah.
So I'm going there, and I'm like, she goes, what would you do? And I'm like, and I had to get over my nerves. I had to just be me. And so I did. I don't know how I did it, but I did. And I turned that switch, and I said, oh, this is what I would do. And I went off. It was like no one else was in the room. And she looked at me, she goes, oh my God, that's great. And I'm like, yeah? And she's like, yeah, it's great.
Did someone
She
like
goes,
your vision?
Write it up. And I'm like, well, okay.
Okay.
So I go over, and I'm like shaking, and I write it. And it was like $3,800. And I'm like, no, she can do this.
Yeah.
And she did it.
Wow.
She wrote a check.
Wow.
And, it was that moment.
That moment, the light bulb.
It was that moment, and I'll never forget it.
and the confidence level went up.
It went up, and this is crazy too. It doesn't go up to where you want it to go. It goes up in
A little
increments.
bit. That's all you need, though.
It's only increments. I say this: inch by inch, life's a cinch.
Okay.
Yard by yard, life's too hard.
Too hard. Very true.
And so, and I had to, and it's all about, like you said, confidence, and you get excited, but then you get brought back down too. So
Very
be
much.
careful, that you can be, And so here I am, and I got that check, and I'm shaking. I get in the car, and I call my partner. I go, "You're not gonna believe this. She just wrote." He's like, "What?" And I'm like, "Yeah."
She hadn't seen a plant.
No.
Well, just let's say what you had in there.
Just what it was.
Yeah,
it was,
you sold it, man.
It was
just
yeah.
you're an artist at the end of the day too. So
Right.
that was you coming out as an artist,
Right.
And then now, everything you do is artistry, right?
So cool.
That's what you
right,
really
right.
are, an artist.
True.
Uh-huh.
Thank you.
For real.
And so cool. I take that, and I said, and this is me though. This
Yes.
is, you got to know me.
Yes.
I want more.
Yes.
Right. Which we are human. We all
Yes.
want more, right?
Yes.
But
you
I
want to test yourself.
The minute that happened, I get back to the shop. I said, I didn't want this location. I want that one on the corner.
Mm-hmm.
Let's call her up. It's $1,500 a month.
Okay.
He's like, whoa, 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 whoa. And I'm like, no. I got it.
We're gonna figure it out.
Yeah. This is it.
And
And
you were pretty much
legit
broke
that-
at that
broke.
point, right?
legit that day, I felt it within inside that I can do this. This is possible.
Yeah.
Right. And
You saw the vision. You saw the end result.
I
that
did
what
it.
it could be.
I did it. Yeah, and it was exciting, and it just started there. You know.
And you
And it was called Green Thumb Pottery.
Green Pottery. So keep on,
And,
because I
and
don't
it
want
was
to
so funny.
interrupt you.
And it was all clay pots back then. You know, the big heavy stuff.
Yeah, the
I got
Mexican style
I
clay
got
pots.
it all
Yeah.
right here in Vietnam, and it was tough because they're heavy.
Yeah,
Right. So
yeah.
because it was me.
Yeah, and you're
and
by
my
yourself.
partner.
Yeah.
Me and then sometimes my partner.
Yeah.
Right. Because he was still working grass guys and I was doing this.
Okay.
Right?
So,
it was
you had both going on at the same time.
trying. Yes. We're not trying. Doing.
Yeah.
I always say doing.
Doing.
Let's say doing, not trying. So yeah, we're doing that, and I have these clay pots, and I'm moving them around, and I had to have sales, and I don't do sales now, by the way, but sales, you know, just to generate
Yeah.
something,
Yeah, of
right?
course.
And live plants and clay pots and delivering them and whatever I could do to make that happen, and it was pretty successful. It took time. It took a couple years, you know, and it wasn't, you know, we'd have our weekend Saturday. I always prepared for that because people wanted to go to Garden Center. But let me talk about the authenticity of it. It was something that I was passionate about. You know, live plants for me are like, it's something that saved my life, you know,
Yeah.
and I talk about this a lot. But being a kid, I was the kid that went into the woods and pulled out plants out of the ground, and I'd bring them home and I'd plant them inside. Don't know why, but I just did. And I would rearrange everything in the yard. I would propagate. I learned how to propagate myself.
By yourself.
Not my
There
parents
wasn't
telling me.
YouTube
No,
like that back then.
no,
either.
no YouTube. My parents didn't know
And
what
this
I
is
was
you
doing.
young.
I was like, Mom, I cut that off and I stuck it in the ground. I graded another one.
Yeah.
And then my grandfather come over and he was teaching me banana trees, and this is how you clean them, you know, because I like it was too brown, like
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
you know. So he'd help me pull it off, and then my grandfather was sitting there. He was one day and he went, cut it in half, and I'm like, oh no,
You killed the tree.
no,
Yeah, nothing.
put it in the ground.
Yeah,
I'm like, what?
yeah.
And it did something to me
Yeah.
right then and there. You know that, and so you know.
You're creating a new life, basically.
Right, and that was the seed, and I say it like that back then, you know, and so, and I get older, and I'm like, wow, this is what I'm gonna do, you know.
No, and also too, like some that people have asked me, what keeps you so motivated throughout
Right.
this journey? Because I've been on my, let's say, this business that I'm doing, the nursery business. I've been doing it for 11 years.
Right.
And it's that. It's
Right.
that you're passionate about it.
Right.
That you love it. You're excited to do it.
Right.
It's not a burden.
No.
Right. There's not a
No.
burden. And then you can continue doing new things and putting new things into
Right.
perspective that keep you hungry and motivated. Now you're doing this and now you're doing that too.
Right,
and
right.
it's exciting, right?
It's
Like now we're
exciting.
doing the podcast. It's
Right.
exciting.
Who'd have
right?
thought?
Something else, right? I didn't
Right.
think of that. So back then at all. So that's where it is. So I have a couple things I want to talk to you about, but I want you to continue on this thing. You had a boat at one point,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
point that you would
Yeah.
put plants on it.
Yeah.
Talk about that, because listen to this, guys.
So-
Listen to this crazy guy, man. right? Because these are the ideas that one has, that we all have.
Right.
But we're like, oh, that's not going to work, or I'm not going to do it. That's going to take too long.
Right, right.
Or, oh, I don't want to do it.
Right.
Whatever it may be.
So,
But
yeah.
people have really good ideas that they just never accomplish.
Right.
I want you to talk about that crazy idea and
Right,
how
right.
that got sprung on you and how you did that and what you did with it.
So I will say, I left Green Thumb Pottery. You know,
You left it, or you
I
closed it?
Green Thumb Pottery, and for a reason of personal reasons. You know, I did get on drugs, and
Oh, wow.
unfortunately, yeah, it was brought me down.
Okay.
You know, and it brought me real down.
Okay.
Right. I lost everything.
Okay,
Right.
and well, if I can ask you
Oh,
a little
yeah.
personal, why did you see yourself getting, like, what caused you to get into that?
What caused me to get into that? You know what it is? It's really a funny. It's not funny, but it's interesting. The excitement of being successful got to me.
Okay,
And I started going out on the weekends and got hooked up with the wrong crowd and
Okay.
started a drug that really took me down
Okay.
quick.
okay,
And, you know, yeah, so.
it's that easy,
Oh,
and you don't
wow.
even realize it.
No. And so it took me out, no car, nothing, lost everything. So when I decided to make that change, and by the grace of God, I changed my life.
Thank God.
Yeah.
Thank God, for real.
But you know, and I will say I went into jail for like couple weeks, wasn't that long, or
Oh,
whatever
no,
it was. It
he's
wasn't that long.
Watch out, guys.
So here I am. I get sober. I'm excited, and you know what I thought about? Plants.
Yes.
I'm gonna open a plant store.
Another one.
Another one. I'm gonna start all over, get sober, and open plant
No,
store.
but at that point you had experience in doing it, some
Right.
experience, so you
Yeah, I
weren't,
did.
you weren't, let's say,
Ready to go.
Yeah. Mhm.
So I went and I found this space on the water. I'm from Florida. I'm a water boy at nature. I love the water, and I said I want to put a store near the water.
Okay.
I want to build that excitement for me because not only is it the plants, let's build an atmosphere that we enjoy coming to work, right?
Yes.
So I was thinking, how would I want to be on the water. How can you do that? Okay, that's cool. I go and I find a store on the water, Intercoastal, Galleria Mall area, right?
Okay.
And it's in Fort Lauderdale, and it's a little store. And I met this guy, and he's like, "Hey, mate," he talks like that. And I'm like, "Hey," because you want to see the store? I said, "Yeah, I want to see it." And it was just, it wasn't pretty, right?
Okay.
Sorry, John. It wasn't that pretty. But I had to make it something, right?
Okay.
But anyways, we walk into the store, and then I look at it. I'm like, "Oh, this is perfect." Actually, anything would have been perfect.
Yeah,
But and I walk out back, and then there's like this water taxi sitting in the dock, and I'm like, "Oh man, I would make that I would put plants on that." And then literally right there, I said, "I'm going to make that the plant boat." And he laughed. He goes, "Mate, that's a great idea." And so
But that's what it is, man.
that's
Having
what
a vision.
it is.
Okay,
I
so-
wanted to do something different. I
different.
want to wake up and get excited,
Yes.
right? I want to be excited about what I'm doing. And so I did it.
So you rented the store and
Rented the store.
rented the boat.
The
boat came in with it.
I didn't rent that boat at first. I did
Okay.
look on Craigslist, and I found a boat that was from Walt Disney World, believe it or not.
I love this story.
And I made a payment arrangement with the guy, and it was all steel
A
construction.
payment arrangement.
Yeah, mhm.
Oh, stranger.
Yeah, and
offline.
made it
Okay.
happen. And you're talking to a guy who had no money.
Yeah.
I didn't even have a car.
Yeah.
I mean, just like that,
Yeah.
right? So I get this, and I named it the plant boat because whenever you buy a boat, you have to that size.
Yeah,
you have to
you
name
put
it.
a name, yeah.
There's a name. It was called the plant boat, right? So we bought it over in the Miami River. It was back there.
Okay.
going out.
Okay, I've been
We
there.
had to drive it down
Yeah,
through
yeah,
that
yeah.
right at night.
Uh-huh.
So we get it there, and it's now the plant boat, right?
Okay.
And many obstacles, and this is so important for everyone to know. Man, I get the boat, I got it. I'm trying to paint it and make it look like something. It's a big tour boat. It holds like 150 people.
Wow,
It looked
so-
like
so
it was
it was one
all
of those
steel.
boats.
It was
Okay.
it's, I don't know, 50, 60 feet long. It was
So
20
it's that
feet wide.
big?
Oh yeah, 20 feet
Oh,
wide.
wow.
Big metal top on it, but
So it's like a little ship.
it was so cool. Big steering wheel, it
Uh-huh.
was so cool.
Uh-huh.
I visioned everything,
Okay.
I had some great ideas about it. But the boat started sinking,
Oh Lord. Okay.
right? And so I had to take the boat out of the water.
That's
and then I
expensive,
lost
yeah.
it because it was so expensive. It was dry docked. I lost it. I lost
Okay,
the
but
whole thing.
what did you do
So
with
what
that
I did-
boat? Tell me what you did with the boat. You put plants all on the
well,
boat.
then I got that water taxi that was sitting
Oh,
right
so
there.
then you got rid of that one and you
he
got the
leased
other
it
one.
to me,
Okay.
the boat, and I put plants on it, and it was the plant boat. It
Okay.
was so cool. Kids would come and jump on board, and they could buy plants, and it had its own water irrigation system, and it all sprayed.
Imagine that.
It's so cool.
Imagine that today, right?
Right.
With let's say social media,
Right.
People doing
Oh,
things.
yeah.
That would be a spot.
Well,
to
my
go and-
idea
and-
was,
and hang out.
to fill it up with Christmas trees during the winter and drive to people's homes on the water.
On the water.
They can come out, pick their Christmas tree out,
Yeah.
put it in the house.
Yeah.
What? And then I actually got
That's
booked
awesome.
with shooters. Shooters wanted me to come out and sell the plant boat plants, to all
Okay.
their tourists, and they could get on board because it was perfect because it was
was
a water
awesome.
taxi.
Yeah.
You can walk
And
on.
it's different. It's shocking.
So
People
different.
freak out.
right?
They see it.
So different. Well, needless to say, they decided to build the bridge, redo the bridge next to me, so it closed off my street.
Nice.
Yeah. Mhm.
So then
No
the
more
storefront,
traffic.
going to the storefront,
What's that?
going to
Yeah,
the
then I had to
storefront.
move to a storefront.
Okay, so then you have to
Yeah.
go back on land.
Back on land.
Back at a regular
I
place.
kept the name, and I just roll with the punches. I
Mm-hmm.
just got to keep going on. Yeah, the name didn't fit anymore. It was the plant boat, and
No, but
yeah,
it was the plant boat because I remember when I met
Yeah.
you were buying product under the plant boat.
It was the plant boat, yeah, and it stayed the plant boat for a
Mhm,
while.
for a while.
yeah. And so I was plant boat on water, and
Yeah.
people are like, "What's the plant boat?" I'm like, "Wow." Then I got to tell the
Yeah,
story,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
But I kept the name, right, for a little while, and then here I am at a new store on Federal Highway. It's amazing. Got the fence put up.
That's where I
black
met you. The
fence,
corner, it had a corner piece outside.
black fence, and
Mm-hmm.
all this stuff, and then Yeah, well, there you don't even
No,
know if you know this.
no. I drove through there. I drove by there one day.
This
and
one's
I saw
on
it.
Federal.
Okay.
Right. It's now another plant store.
Yes.
Go
Yeah, we
figure.
talked about that.
Yeah. So I was there like 3 months, and I have I have all my plants there. I put an outdoor area with a bunch of plants and shade sails and stuff, and then a car went through my my store. Yeah, the roof collapse was on the news. I was famous for about a month in Fort Lauderdale, and it was like
Well, that helped you out because now people knew who you were.
it was another punch.
Uh-huh.
But the irony of the story is that remember the store Green Thumb Pottery?
Yes.
After this had happened, it was on TV. The lady from the owner of that store said, "Hey, I heard you're doing really well. You want your old store back? Don't worry about paying me. Just come back."
Oh, wow.
So I went back to Oakland Park and got my store going.
Which was your first store?
Yeah, basically, let's say I started all over. And that's where I started all over.
That's where
again.
you started, and then you got one spot that was similar to this, but a lot smaller, and then you got this new big place.
Yeah, I started going into 2 and 3 stores, which wasn't, like maybe remember we did Aventura Mall and stuff.
Oh,
like
yes. So tell me about that, because that's something cool too. You did you did a piece inside of Aventura Mall, which is a huge mall.
Yeah.
And you did it in the middle of, let's say, the rows where there's stores on one side, stores on the other. You have like 80 feet, let's say, between storefront to storefront, and you rented a huge like cubicle, or you bought it, you built it.
Right.
It was like an egg type thing.
The Aventura Mall had approached me and said they want the plant guy there. I was thrilled. I thought that was the pinnacle of my life, actually.
Wow.
Which it was for the
At that
payment
moment.
that I was.
Oh,
but,
wow.
And they said, we're going to build you a structure. And they basically asked, do you want it in chrome or black or whatever? I was like, chrome, of course. But they made the plant guy letters, those letters that are over there that are chrome.
Let's try to find a picture of, I think you have some on IG, a picture that we could post up on the video, because it's super cool. It was very neat. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that was what, 4 or 5 years ago?
About 4 years ago.
4 years ago.
So yeah, it was little increments, keep going up and up.
And that was basically the same concept. You had your store, the store you had on Oakland Park, and then you had that piece as well.
I had that as well.
You had that as well.
And then I had a Coral Ridge Mall at the same time.
Okay.
I don't know if you saw that one. It's a
I didn't
little
see
store.
that
So I
one.
had 3 at once.
3 stores going
lot.
on, 2 different malls, and an actual store on Oakland Park.
Yeah.
So you were doing all that stuff.
Yeah.
You had a bunch of stuff going on.
Right.
Okay, and in these stores, you weren't just selling plants. This is when you got into now. You had already been doing stuff for people,
Right.
But then your visions kept on going, and because you've created a bunch of things, not
Right.
just the plant guy,
Right.
Not just whatever it is. You got into plants, you got into pots,
Right.
You've gone into artificial stuff.
Right.
With that, get into all of that.
Okay, I mean, well, yeah.
What you do.
So now I've gotten into where we design, or I design my own planters, plant
Okay.
styles. We design our own plant walls, custom build aluminum structures for plant walls. We still do live plant walls. We do a lot of artificial now. I love the fact of bringing. At first I wasn't an artificial guy. I wouldn't sell that, but I thought, I have so many clients asking me, will you
That's the
please
thing.
do that?
You have to. You have to go where the money takes
Right.
you, regardless of what it is or how you feel about it.
Right.
And you still do live plants,
Right.
but the artificial pays the bills at the end of the day. You have a lot of stuff to pay.
Right.
You know?
But it's so interesting is that that helped pay the bills, like you said,
course.
right? Opens the doors up. And you know what it opens up the doors for?
What?
For me to be more creative.
Yeah, that's true.
Because being creative, you have to have some time carved out for that.
Of course.
Right? When you're trying to run a startup, there's no time to be creative.
That's very true.
And so I've gotten to, I just showed you a product that I designed, and it's in patent process because I'm able to.
You have the time.
I have the time, and I'm around some good people, and
You can make things happen.
So, you got to understand, I started out with just the plants that I had. I showed you a picture of the table of plants.
9 years ago.
Yeah, it was just pots that I had gotten from the flea market and plants that I had and or had taken out of the ground and put in a pot and tried to sell it. I didn't try, I did. I sold them,
But it's crazy that you even had, let's say, the guts to even do that.
Right.
Right? Or the idea, because people nowadays, I don't know,
Right.
not let's say people nowadays, but people, let's say they would come up with an idea like that, and that fear would come in, like, oh, who's going to buy a plant from me
Right.
that I dug up
That-
from the ground and I
that's
put in a
huge.
pot? Like, the
That's
fact that
huge.
you've done that, right?
Yeah.
And you did that, not caring, right?
Right.
Because you didn't have an option, and this is the
Right.
idea that you had.
Right.
And you've made something out of it.
Right.
That today's a whole nother world,
Right.
right? Like you said, you thought you hit your pinnacle when they called you to
Opened
do
the
that
mall.
store in
Yeah.
Aventura Mall, and that was 4 or 5 years ago,
Right.
and now you're here in this huge,
Store,
building
right.
that you have all this stuff and it's set up beautifully, and you're working for the 1% at
Right,
the end of the
right,
day. Like
Right.
fear, you guys
Right.
can't have fear. You really have to go, and
No, yeah.
sitting next to and talking to people that have done it, coming from where we've all started,
Right,
from
right.
the bottom, right?
Yeah.
Because not too many people get the opportunity to start
No.
at the top,
No.
right? And if you start at the top, it's not yours,
Right. Right.
So to have that, backbone to
Right.
know everything and know the whole process and have done it and have the knowledge to
Right.
back you up to do it is powerful.
Right.
About fear, talk to me about that, because I know that you were going through like certain things in life that you were very fearful of, you coming out to be able to do this and what the world thought. Does
Right.
it matter what the world
No,
thinks?
it
Really?
doesn't. Oh my gosh, it doesn't. And I've also learned not everyone's gonna love it.
No, of course.
Not everyone has to love it.
No,
right?
no, of
But
course.
what you are going to do is you're going to attract who you are.
Yes,
Right?
that's very powerful.
And so, and if you believe in yourself, and that takes work.
Yes.
But you can start today.
Yeah, and it's
right?
all in your mind.
It's all in your mind. All of that is fear-based stuff. I stopped making decisions through fear. Now, I still sometimes do, and I catch myself. I'm like, oh, wait, I'm doing that because of fear of not having or not something, right? But you just have to let it go.
Mm-hmm.
Believe in yourself. Believe in, detail. I like details.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think, people have great ideas, but make sure you detail it out. I know that's a whole nother topic, but,
Yeah,
just detail it out. You know what I mean?
Which is like, write it out.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it's a real cool process.
No, the fact that you've been able to do it is very inspiring. And you have things that you're working on now that no one knows about. I know about, but I can't
Right.
talk about. But just even that in itself as well is something you never thought would be possible. And today you are in a niche market that you're able to work for people that have money, that you don't got to worry.
Right.
You don't got to worry if the check bounces. Let's say.
Right.
And you're flying all over the place.
Right,
You're
I am.
flying all
Yeah.
over the
Oh,
country.
yeah.
Tell me about that. You have some customers all over the place.
Yeah, we have to fly to the Bahamas. We're doing some of the Sandals resorts all
Okay.
around now. But we just got back from California, Los Angeles. We were in Utah doing a project there. A couple in New York. I think we have one coming up in Atlanta. But yeah, it's I would have never
Think
in a
about
million
that.
years. No.
You never
No, no.
thought when 9 years ago, when you showed me that picture, you had plants on a table that
No.
you dug up from your yard.
No. No way.
That you would be flying around working
No.
for the 1%. Guys, right before I walked in here,
No.
Rick Ross was here.
Right.
And he just
Right.
left. And he bought
Right.
some animals
Right,
for his
right.
house.
Right.
Right? So imagine
Right,
if you
imagine,
would have
right.
let fear overcome you and you
Right,
never
correct.
did all the things that you did.
Right.
Right? And
Right.
going and going and going, and you would get punched, you would
Right.
get knocked down, you would have to lift yourself back up,
Right.
going through personal things, going through drug
Right, right,
addictions,
right.
going through who you are as a person coming out. Like all those things tie
Yeah.
into your mental state.
Yeah.
And you need to be as free as possible to be able to go out and be
Yeah.
creative and,
Right.
and become who you
Right.
want to be or who you're meant to be.
Right.
Right? You were meant to
Right.
be this guy,
Right,
the
I
plant
appreciate
guy.
that, yeah.
But you didn't know that.
Right,
None of
right.
us know. I don't know. I'm doing
Right.
this today. I don't know where I'm going to be tomorrow.
Right, exactly.
But I'm out here doing it. And I'm not
Right.
going to let nobody tell me I can't.
Right.
Right? And that's the same thing with you.
I enjoy the way I did it too. I think I'm sitting here listening to you, and I remember anytime I would go to buy plants, because I had to buy them. Now I send people to buy them.
Yes.
But when I would go buy them, I made it a point, if I was going to Homestead, to visit one new nursery
Every time.
every time. Right? So then I eventually built up this collection of plants,
Of where they were, who
right.
had what.
Someone had that, oh, you want that plant?
And you're looking for special pieces, too.
Right.
You're not looking for, like, some stuff is the
No.
normal stuff, your Sansevieras, whatever,
No.
your crows,
I
your
look
stuff.
for crazy. So like if I would go in there and the guy would say, "Oh no, don't go back there. There's nothing back there." I'm like, "Bullshit."
That's where
I'm
I wanna
going
go.
Back there.
Yeah, because that's where you
I
find
wanted,
the funky
I
items.
wanted all the plants laying on their side, and I started to bend up, and that's how I created my business. is. You know, I created it for, you know, like that Mingorelia right there, and it's turning like this way. You know why? It's funny. We'll have a hurricane, right? Plants get knocked down in all these nurseries. They leave them down because what, you know, they don't know what, right? So that they're down for months, and they grow this way, and then they pick them out and they fall that way. And they, you know,
that happens with bigger stuff. Let's say like palm trees too. You get those, and now that's something that people want. People want curved coconuts.
Well, isn't that
they
funny?
Have a 20-foot.
Isn't that funny?
You know, where the kids can sit on it.
Isn't that
you know?
funny?
Yeah,
That's where my brain always thought.
Yeah.
It's always the, you know, and that's something important. People would say, why are you picking, why do you want that? This is from the nurseries. I go, trust me, it's cool. They're like, I don't know, it's bent. And I'm like, no, it's great.
Yeah.
You
What are you
know?
gonna charge me? It's $100. Oh,
Right.
just take it for 50. You're like, yes, I can sell it for $1,000.
Exactly.
You know, because you have the vision
more
and the niche.
character, yeah.
You know,
that's
you have-
exactly how I did it. It's
You
funny
have
you say that.
something. You have something that is just oddball, and now there's more people doing it. But when you started
Right.
doing it, it
Wasn't
was
a
something
thing.
new.
Yeah.
It was something new, and that's why, you know, let's say your mental state got to where it was.
Right.
But now it's like, you know, that you can accomplish this, and this is the
100%.
reality of where you're at. So that's crazy. How did you get into the niche market? For those that might have that question, how were you able to get into that niche market where you're dealing with high-end customers and you're not dealing with,
Right.
you know, 95% of the normal
Right,
people
right.
that everyone else deals with?
Right. Well. First of all, I had the confidence.
Okay.
Right. I had to build that up, you know, and I truly believe in my product. I believe in the way I design and the way I do things, you know. But I keep it authentic, you know, like so for real. When I say like I will go and get that plant myself, I would tell clients, look, I'm gonna specifically go and purchase your plant for you. They're like, you are? I'm like, yeah. So when I get there, I'm gonna send you pictures of which ones you might want to pick out. And they're like, oh, they loved that camaraderie, that,
Yes.
you know, bringing me into it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're bringing them on to your world.
Right.
You know, you're going into their world, and you're
Right.
teaming up with them in a way to make something special for them.
Correct.
And you're an artist.
Correct.
That's the difference.
Right.
And all of us are artists at the end of the day. Like even regular landscapers.
Right.
Like landscapers, they make these designs.
Right.
We're all artists.
Right.
And then we're in an industry that is alive.
Yeah.
You know, like how cool is that?
It's
It's
so
different
cool.
than if you own an auto parts store and you buy a bunch of starters and alternators. Those just sit on the side.
Yeah.
These are live things. So
Right.
At the end of the day, we're all artists. Like even
Right.
in my industry that we do wholesale plants, it gives you some type of, you know, fulfillment to grow a beautiful crop of product.
Right.
Where you're like, man, these plants came out killer.
Right.
You know, they look gorgeous. Look how
Right.
many flowers. Look how fat they are.
Right.
Right. And it gives you that satisfaction, right, of being able to
Yeah.
do something. And that's what's very cool about that. And you tie into that world very
Right.
much, even though you're doing artificial and the
Right.
other one. But artificial comes, there's money in artificial, there's money in everything.
Yeah.
There's money in pots. You didn't think you were going to be making
yeah,
pots.
No, exactly. You know, and I think for the people that are starting out, for sure, like get in the car, go to Homestead, go to a nursery, get inside of that golf cart if they allow you,
Yeah.
and go look at plants.
Yeah,
you
or
know?
wherever you are in the
And
world.
That was my meditation. Did you know that?
Yeah.
Like that literally, I would getting in that. If they let me, oh, you can take the car. I can.
Yes.
I'm like, oh
Yes.
man, you know. And I'd go through and find and stack it and you
Do
know.
your thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's peaceful. It's
Yeah.
very peaceful. I love doing that. I don't do it that
Yeah.
much anymore. Sometimes I'll jump in with the guys. But it is very fun.
Yeah,
And you get
yeah.
to see people, you get to meet people, interact with
Yeah.
people, you get to see all different types of plants. And you never know. Like sometimes I see plants and I'm like, man, I want to start maybe growing this because
Right.
it's just so nice and there is a demand for it. Whatever.
Right,
There's-
right.
Your mind is free. And you
Right.
can think of whatever you want. And you being
Right.
an artist, it ties into that.
Right.
That ties into a much needed factor. That's probably what got you here. Being able to see those funky trees.
Right.
Because you might have an envision, but if you don't know where it's at.
Right.
And that's going back to the artificial too. If someone wants 10-foot vines that
Right.
hang from the rooftop
Right.
of their 40-foot elevated ceiling,
Yeah.
where are you going to get 1,000
Right.
vines that hang like that,
Right.
that'll stay like that,
Right.
You can't do that so much with
Right.
live, so that's where artificial ties
Right,
in where
right.
the live can't. And
Yeah.
that's something good. And artificial's great in let's say for people that don't have time
Right.
to water, right?
Right,
Or they
right.
don't think about it and they're worse, they're not good, they're not a green
right.
thumb. But you've overcome that with your pots
Right,
and
right.
certain things that you've invented
Yeah.
where you have self-watering planters, you can put fertilizer right in the
Yeah,
water
yeah.
and it waters all day long and
100%.
are any of these like to the point where they can alert you if they need water or the light comes on or
that's
anything like that?
interesting. There is a company out there that I'm going to pick up because the one product that I've designed and that I'm getting patent for, I'm going to actually utilize. It's like a little probe that you put in the plant.
Okay.
And the minute it needs water,
It
you're
alerts
getting
you.
on your phone.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
How cool is that?
That's awesome.
Right? So there's all these cool products that are coming out. Yeah. And so, I've learned a lot about planting in pots.
Right.
There's a lot. I did one complex where I did 38 balconies.
Okay.
And I had to figure out, oh my God, do I want to introduce that much soil into that planter?
Yeah.
Do they need it?
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
They don't.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah, you've learned along the way.
Right. So,
And you do so many things. Real quick, I want you to
Yeah.
tell us all of the different things you do. The whole 1,000 things. Bring out the list.
oh no, it's not that much, really, is it?
No,
Oh,
but
yeah.
tell us what you do. You can go to someone's spot.
Yeah.
You can put planters outside, balconies. You have all different types of planters. You
Yeah.
even got planters that hang on the wall.
Yeah.
Right? So you do that.
We do that.
What else do you do? You can do
We do-
centerpieces. You can do
we
the
do
rooftops.
Plant walls, we do ceilings.
Okay.
Full on ceiling, floral ceiling.
Okay.
We do full on plant walls. We'll put plants on the rooftop of a 50-story building, which we're going to have to rent a helicopter for that project. Wait till you see that.
Okay, I'm excited
But
for that.
anywhere you can think about putting a plant,
That's what you guys
that's
do.
what I do.
That's what you do.
Yeah.
And you set up. You basically make an oasis for the customer wherever they want it.
Right.
And you do everything from homeowners to commercial to
Homeowners,
restaurants
commercials,
to hotels to whatever it is.
Right.
Whatever they can think of, you can make it happen.
The goal is to make them feel joy.
Of course.
Like I said before to you, And I feel joy. When they feel joy, I feel joy.
course.
Right?
It's
And
an
so
accomplishment.
I love thinking outside of the box. When someone says, "Can you do this here?" I'm like, "Well, yeah."
Yeah.
You kidding me?
I could do anything you want me to.
Yeah, let's do it.
We'll
I'm
figure it out.
excited.
If I've never done it, we'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out. And
We'll figure it
I
out.
do a lot of figuring out
Yeah.
right now.
Yeah.
I'm in a figure out stage,
But that's good because that's all
Yeah.
growth for you.
Yeah.
And your team and everyone around and them as well. And it's a
Yeah,
great
super great.
experience. You're
Yeah.
learning all day long.
All day.
We never know it all. We learn something new every day, especially you being who you are and all
Yeah.
the projects that you take on. That you're like,
Right.
yeah, man, you shake their hand, not knowing what the heck you're going to do, but you'll figure it out. You'll make some
Right.
phone calls.
Get up early, go to the gym,
Uh-huh.
meditate every day, make the bed, because that's the first sense of accomplishment every day.
Making
right?
your bed.
Legit.
Yeah,
Make that bed and make it happen.
of course.
You
Yeah,
know?
it's very, very true.
Yeah.
You have anything else you want to talk about?
No, I'm excited. I went to that trade show recently, and there's this lady, I forget her name, and if you're listening to this, I remember you.
I remember who you are, but not your name.
Yeah, she was so cute, and she's selling her plants,
Uh-huh.
and her boyfriend's there,
Uh-huh.
and he's videoing her.
Uh-huh.
Right? It was over at the trade show. You were
Yeah,
there.
we can give
and I was like, I'm
Adam
gonna go-
Adam a shout out.
I love Adam.
Home Designer
Home
Remodeling
Designer
Show,
Remodel
South Florida. Adam is the man.
He is, absolutely. So I'm there, and we're like, it was just so cute. I can't take it because it was me.
Okay,
You know,
back in the day.
Yeah, and she had her little grow pots, and we said we'll take that plant and that plant, and she took it, and she, on the grow pot, she painted, right,
On the pot.
and put little emblems and little jewels and stuff. I
Okay.
was like,
Being creative.
just do it.
Keep going.
That's all I gotta say. Just do it.
No, and for her listening
Oh
to
my
you
God.
tell her that, I'm sure that's so inspiring
It was
for
so
her.
beautiful. It was so cool, and it was authentic, and it was real, and it was here, and it was now. And that plant sits in my kitchen, and I think about it. And the other day, my partner and I were looking at it. Goes, she's cute, right? And him and I were thinking the same thing. She's cool.
Yeah.
This is her thing. And then her guy was there videoing her, plants are love.
They are.
And that's what it's all about, man.
Yeah, and it's become a huge culture.
Yeah.
Like it's like a tick, right?
Right.
Like someone they need
Yeah,
it. It's a
yeah.
fix.
Yeah, for
you
sure.
know, I see all these videos online where they're like, "Honey, I got a new plant.
right.
You have 1,000. Why'd you buy
Right,
another
right.
one?" And the apartments are filled with shelves, filled with plants.
Yeah.
And it is nice, man. Anytime you walk in, like here, I walk in and I'm like, wow, this is amazing.
Yeah.
And like I'm gonna rent this space out to do
Okay.
all my podcasts.
Sure.
Guys, all the podcasts are gonna be here from now on.
100%.
Right? We'll have Matthew deck out the studio, but it is a sense of joy.
Yeah.
And it does bring something different. It's alive, man.
Yeah.
And it's just healthier to it. The oxygen.
Yeah.
They breathe in that bad carbon and
Right.
they release oxygen. Like how
Right.
cool is that,
Right.
man? Right? Like when
Right.
you go to Homestead, it's fresh air.
Oh, it's
Thousands
it's a-
of nurseries,
it's a dream,
thousands of plants.
honestly.
pumping out oxygen.
Yeah, it's a blessing.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
You are an awesome guy. Thank you
man.
so
You
much
too.
for taking the time
I
to
appreciate
do
it.
this, because I know you've been busy. I've been after Matt for a while.
Yeah.
I'm not the son of a Matthew. What are you doing, man? Are you ready now? It's midnight. Let's
Yeah,
go.
let's do it.
So
appreciate
the
it.
fact that we got this done is another accomplishment for me in my book, and to be here and just wait to you guys see what's up, what this guy has up his sleeve.
Awesome.
With the future, because look at what you've accomplished in the past 9 years.
Cool, man.
So from here, you're already full throttle in 6th gear.
Yeah, right.
Right. So you know, it's only gonna happen faster for you,
Yeah, for
whatever's
sure.
in store for the future, which there are big things, and I'm excited for them to be revealed and excited
Cool.
to see them. And keep going, man. Don't stop.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Don't stop.
I won't.
Don't stop. And if this place gets too small, go buy the mall. Go buy Aventura Mall.
Exactly.
Buy Macy's. If Macy's goes out, just go
Right.
rent it. Go buy the old Sears building.
I'll do it.
You know, and do what you got to do to make it happen. But
All right, cool.
thank you, man. Thank you for
Cool,
taking the
man.
time. Thank you guys for listening and watching this episode. You know, it's awesome to be doing this. It really is.
Yeah.
And to think
This
that
is
for
great.
us, this was a 5 months ago was just an idea, like I was telling Matt. Just an idea, and now we've actually created it, and here we are today in this beautiful space interviewing Matthew from The Plant Guy.
Thanks, guys.
So thank you guys for watching. Stay tuned for the next one, because you know it's going to be awesome. We're going to keep innovating, keep bringing people that are relevant to our world, and I just want to keep on going. We're not going to stop.
Cool.
We don't stop.
Cool, man.
All right? Thank you, guys. Thank you. They can find you at The Plant Guy on Instagram,
The Plant Guy Instagram,
What's-
theplantguy.com.
plantguy.com,
Yeah.
your phone number.
Yeah, 954-591-5009.
And if you guys, no matter where you are, and I feel confident this in the world, you reach out to Matthew, and if you want his services, he will figure out a way
to get there.
to get there, no matter where you are. You mean in the middle of the
100%.
Amazon,
I know,
he'll
right?
show up
I
on a
love it.
canoe
Let's do it.
with his vines. He'll be ready to go.
Cool.
With the monkey,
Yeah.
right on the back of the canoe on the plant boat. We'll go rent one and we'll go out there. Thank you, guys. God bless you guys. Stay safe, stay hungry, motivated, keep going. All right, the sky is the limit. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Matthew. Thank you, guys. Bye.